Okay, this is a real quick demo of the Waterwheel module showing OpenAPI specification integration. So if we go to configuration under web services, we have a new section here, REST API. And this is going to list your different documentation pages, and these pages are made from the Swagger UI project. So if we look here, we have non-bundled resources, which is basically any entity that's not bundleable, such as a vocabulary or a file or user. And then here we have, and right now I just have node content bundles, but if I had other stuff enabled. So let's look at the article. It's going to show us the different operations we can have at the article and the paths that they're at. If we open up one, say post, it's going to show us an example value of what we'd send over. And then it's going to show the parameters that we need to send over, format. In the body, we have the content object. And if we wanted to look at the model, we could. We can see an example value and put it over here. And then also we need to provide the XCSRF token. And we can look also at get, where it has the example value of the response that we would get. Again, it has the things we need in the parameters, and then here it also has the possible bad responses we would get. And if we go back to look at the documentation page for other resources besides bundled entities, I have a couple of the resources available, but ones that are common would be like the taxonomy vocabulary, and we can see here that it only has a get operation because currently config entities only support get, but we see possible. Here we don't have the possible response because the config entities don't have the model in this case. But what actually might be more useful than the current documentation on the pages is under the configuration web services REST API, we have two links at the bottom for OpenAPI files. So this is where you can download the actual JSON files that makes the documentation and then use them in other tools. So if we look at the OpenAPI entity one, this is actually just a Chrome extension that formats the JSON, but this is just a regular JSON file. And basically it shows, say for the, let's look at the node get, it shows us again the formats that we would need, possible responses. But if we take this file, which I have already downloaded, but you can save and save the page as. If we go to the Swagger editor, which is a free online demo of the Swagger editor open source project, you can take that file and import it here, which I've already done. And that will make you a nice documentation page of all your REST resources. So here we look at the entity file. If we go down to node get, it'll show your possible responses. Again, here it's much more easy to see the detailed model of what the node response will be. If we look at, say, the language code, we can see the language code is an array and it has a value which is a string, or the UUID also has a value. If we want to look at let's look at created, it'll tell you that this is the time the node was created and the value, and it's a timestamp value. So this gives you a lot more detailed documentation for your resources. It actually has the possibility to try the operation. This is not currently working correctly, and also you would have to have it downloaded on your local computer, the Swagger API, Swagger editor project, to get it to work. To actually make requests. So this is just a quick look at this current progress of Swagger / OpenAPI specification integration in the Waterwheel module.